Good afternoon, family. Good afternoon. I was just sitting here reading. Okay, I was sitting here reading. Don't ask me why. I'm reading this book right here called "Avoid the Machines." Avoid the Machines. The book author is Scotty Vasco, and it's a fictional book that he wrote about, I guess, an alternative reality or what may happen in the future in 2079. But that really had me going about the interview with Joe Biden and Charlamagne the God. Now, I also talked about the interview with Cardi B and Joe Biden, but let me break down this video very quickly because when I was looking at this entire video, some of the questions were contextualized in the sense that it once again pointed out and reinforced the Democratic talking points all throughout the video. But as the video continued and as the interview began to linger on, what I've noticed is that when Charlamagne started to ask hardcore questions about prison reform, Joe Biden said something very pertinent. What he said was, he said, I have a manifesto for Black America. I have a manifesto for Black America. And what that simply means is a manifesto is a public policy of what a political party or what a politician may do or what they will do. It's almost like a promise, okay? A manifesto is essentially legislation. It is a policy that they're going to have for us. And he was talking about how anybody with a drug offense, that they don't need to have a prison sentence. If they're addicted to drugs, they shouldn't have a prison sentence, right? So, he's also going to decriminalize marijuana, okay? He's going to decriminalize marijuana, and also you shouldn't be in jail for marijuana. But I'm thinking back, of course, back to his 1994 crime bill, and better yet, what I'm thinking about, and I wrote down some notes here, excuse me as I look down, about back in 1984, about his drug comprehensive crime bill. Okay, a lot of that has to do, that comes inside of the whole three-strike rule, you're out. Three strikes, you out, right? So first and foremost, he doesn't want to acknowledge, if you go back and you analyze that video, he doesn't want to acknowledge, okay, that he had something to do with mass incarceration of Black people, mostly Black American males. He doesn't want to affirm that he had a large doing with that. This is my problem, ladies and gentlemen. And another part of this information that's coming from a buddy of mine, I won't say his name, but nonetheless, me and him have had a lot of conversation about voting, this, that, and the other, but I'm gonna let the cat out the bag and hopefully he sees this. I was slightly offended by his response because I did a video and he said, hey, something about you telling people not to vote. I said, no, I'm not telling people not to vote. I'm telling people to have a brain. I'm telling people that if you're going to vote, what are they going to offer you? What are they going to offer you? If they're going to simply say, hey, anything is better than 45, then they're not offering you anything. Guess what, ladies and gentlemen? If you're Black in America, okay, if you're a foundational Black America, it doesn't matter who's the president to you because they have done nothing for you in the first place. That is the issue with voting right now. Everybody wants you to go out and vote. And then they try to guilt trip you into voting. Oh, your ancestors died for you to vote. No, they didn't. Did you ask them? Did you know them? Did you ask them? Was it out? Did they vote? No, they fought for the right to vote. It's a choice. It's not a must. Now, some of you are like, well, I need to vote for somebody. Where is this inclination? Where is this feeling that you're getting? Because guess what? You vote in every election. You voted in every election that you could as a legal adult, and it's absolutely have gotten you anywhere. But when other nationalities, when other ethnic groups in America, when they vote, they get something in return. Either they are feeding the pockets of lobbyists to commit certain policies and legislations to their politicians, or they say, you're not going to get the Asian vote. You're not going to get the Indian vote. You're not going to get the Jewish vote. You're not going to get the white vote unless you do these things for us. Time after time after time. Let me just point out this disclaimer. So anybody going to get this twisted. I am not a Republican. I am not a Democrat. I am not an independent. I am just a Black man in America trying to make it. Because the one thing that we all understand that Black people lack is resources and access. Resource, access, opportunity. Okay. Now, some of these things we can actually create. We can create opportunities. So let me take that one back. We can create opportunities. But when it comes to resources and access, that's the one thing that we lack. That's the one thing that we lack. But let's really, it burns me up because what he said is, because I was talking about the Democratic Party, he automatically said, well, you can go ahead and vote for him. He said Trump was a piece of shit. And I said, I agree. I said, were you sending this to me or was this a mass message? He said, this was a mass message, but you can vote for him if you want to. And I'm like, just because I say something about the Democratic Party does not automatically mean that I'm Republican. Does not automatically mean go and vote for the Republicans. Doesn't automatically mean, Black people, we have to be more intelligent than this. We can't let Democratic talking points, we can't let them talk about Donald Trump so bad. He's this, he's that, he's this, he's that, to the point where you automatically fall into the trap. I'm just going to vote for Joe Biden. And Joe Biden is doing nothing for the Black community. Okay? Because when Charlamagne the God asked him particular questions, he avoided them like the plague. He avoided them like a bad accident. He avoided them like drinking poison. He avoided the questions. Okay? Something else. Oh, what are my other notes here? I'm losing my voice. Excuse me. He said, basically, we want to know what you're going to do for his community. He said, what are you going to do for the Black community? And I'm going to tell you what Joe Biden said. He said, I extended the voting right. I extended the Voting Act. He also said the NAACP endorsed me twice. The Black National Congress endorsed me as well. Anyone tell me in the chat, what the hell does that have to do with Black policies, Black agenda, Black reparations, tangibles, something that we can actually hold on to and decrease the wealth gap? Tell me, anybody. And then I went back and forth and I had to mark out. I said, this because I tell people, because we look, as Black people, we understand that Trump is not for us. That's a no-brainer. Do I have to publicly say that I know that Donald Trump doesn't care about the Black vote? Every now and again, Trump will say something like, you voted for the Democrats for the past 8 years. What did that get you? Okay, so what else can you lose? He had said something like that, so he gained some Black votes last time. He probably say one Black phrase, and he may gain some Black votes. But again, I'm not voting for Trump. I'm not voting for Biden. I am voting for the party. I am voting for the candidate who's going to absolutely give Black people reparations. And not in reparations that you may think. I read a story today on, was it CNBC, one of those C's, MSNBC, I don't know. And they said that reparations is going to cost America $10 to $12 trillion. $10 to $12 trillion. Like I fucking care. Like I care what it costs America. See, the problem is, ladies and gentlemen, Black people, we always make white issues our issues. Why? Why are we worried about white issues? This is how we get lost in the sauce. This is how the division of Black people occur. I'm telling you to have your own mind, your own body, your own soul, your own thoughts. But in order to be unified, in order to get something in America, we have to be unified on 1 to 3 things. 1 to 3 things, okay? I'm just throwing out an arbitrary number so we can say, hey, can we agree on one thing? Can we agree on Black wealth? Can we agree on those things? Because when Charlamagne the God was asking Joe Biden questions, you know what he didn't offer? He didn't offer substance. He didn't deconstruct. He didn't deconstruct any of his questions. He deflected. Joe Biden is the great deflector, just like Donald Trump. Both of them are in the same boat on opposite sides. They're both great deflectors. And your national athletes, which I love watching basketball, I love watching football. And I saw, was it Kevin Durant? It was Tyreek Hill, I'm sorry. LeBron James. It was all these athletes on this talking about go ahead and vote. Why are we voting? I'm not telling you don't vote. I'm not telling you don't vote. I'm asking, why are you voting? What are the Republicans? What are the Democrats absolutely giving you to vote? They give everybody else. They give everybody else something for their vote. Let's run down a short timeline. Japanese internment. America gave each person that was inside of the Japanese internment a check for $20,000. A check for $20,000. America have redistributed land to Native Americans. Okay, they also have been giving them billions of dollars for the mismanagement of their trust funds. Reparations. Native Americans have received reparations in land and in dollar and support for housing, and on reservation, no taxes. They don't pay taxes at all if they're on the reservations. If they work on the reservation, they live on the reservation, they don't pay taxes. This has nothing to do against the Native Americans. It absolutely doesn't. It has nothing to do with the Native Americans, has nothing to do with the Japanese, has nothing to do with the Jews. Because do you understand, when Obama was in office, he gave Holocaust survivors living in America $12 million. $12 million. And see, my buddy was saying, he said, well, they put legislation through and they got voted on and it got passed. So we need to get people in office that's going to speak for us. We need our foot in the door. We need a seat at the table. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, black people have a seat at the table all the time. They always give you the seat to sit down, but you better not say nothing. You better not open your freaking mouth. Because when you open your mouth, you know what happens? Those people get booted out. Those people get allegations. Those people get incarcerated. Those people character get defamed, defamation of character. That's what occurs for us, ladies and gentlemen. So again, I want to point this out because I'm going to say this a couple of times throughout this live cast. I am not telling you not to vote. I am telling you to wake up. I'm telling you to open your eyes to what's going on in America. That is what I'm telling you. Because everybody, you yourself right now is sitting, these are the reasons why I'm going to vote. And you're saying, I'm going to vote because I want Donald Trump out of the office. Me too. Me too. I want all of them out of the office. I want anyone who's not going to be for black people out of the office. And some of you are saying, I know, well, there's other people in America. And you're absolutely correct. And those other people in America are not doing systematically bad as black people. See, we understand that if you work for a large corporation, a large business, or you own your own business and you're doing primarily well, right? You're doing primarily well and you're not struggling. So you're not really thinking about yourself. You're really not thinking about yourself. But I want you to ask yourself one question. What about your cousin, your brother, your sister, your mother, your family, your friends, your loved one? Are they living under a system of oppression? Let me tell you, regardless how good you're doing, we are under a system of white supremacy. We are in a system of oppression. We as a people have been oppressed. And just because a select few and some of you wiggle through the cracks doesn't mean systematically that we're all doing well. Because I'm from Washington, D.C. And anytime I go back to any of the old neighborhoods, two things occur. Either they were gentrified or the same looking people are doing the same looking thing. Is it by their own fault? Maybe. But we understand there's white supremacy in this country. Let me read some out of this book that I just told you guys about. And for you guys who just showed up, I'm talking about Avoid the Machines by Scotty Vasco. This is very important. This is very important. It says here, there were also policies put in place to reclassify other previously non-white racial group categories. So all the Asians and Hispanics and New Albanian, this is from Albano, New Albanian were reclassified as white. But this began to further degrade the white bloodline. This is because most people who were classified as Hispanic had African bloodlines. Now, if anybody caught my live cast today when I did my stock review, I told you guys that majority of Hispanic, they're mixed with African. even Afro-Mexican. That was the point I was trying to make today. There's a lot of Afro-Mexicans. There's about 1.4 million Afro-Mexicans living in Mexico. They're now getting notoriety. And guess what? Some of them are as dark as me. Some of them has features just like me. And there's a community near Veracruz in Mexico that has Afro-American. I'm getting somewhere. Hold on. And the Asians intermixing with having an adverse effect on the white bloodlines. Many Asians saw the white population declining as an opportunity for them to have more solidarity with other Asian groups and acquire more resources. The black population was forced into, listen to this, the black population was forced into small, concentrated areas called townships. The name and concept of township were popularized in South Africa, okay? He's using that example of South Africa and the apartheid in the middle of the 20th century. In order for the white minority to survive among a black majority in South Africa, they had to create an apartheid system, which is nothing but another word for white supremacy. Now, we are the minority in this country, but we live in a system of apartheid. We live in a system of white supremacy. Why is this? Because we continue to believe people who do not look like us and people that look like us tell us bull crap. They give us lip service. Because the first thing comes out of your mouth, you say, you know what? What are you going to do for the black community? Are you going to increase funding for the schools? My son, my daughter's school books are torn, but when I go across the street to the white school, they have brand new books. What are you going to do for the black community? I seen that you guys are pushing all the black people out of certain neighborhoods, and then you're tearing them down, rebuilding them, making condos, called gentrification. I see that you guys don't care about the Fair Housing Act. No one cares about the Fair Housing Act. They are still redlining neighborhoods. They're still redlining neighborhoods. You know how they're doing that? Redlining neighborhoods is just gentrification. They're making it so expensive because they understand that majority of African Americans are either unemployed or have low income paying jobs. So what they do is they tell another white developer, hey, we want to come in and buy that property out. That white developer said, well, how much you going to give us? Oh, well, we'll give you $1 billion. Oh, okay. He doesn't care about the people who live there. This is business. Okay, this is business. But the other developer who buys it out for $1 billion understands that he's going to make $10 billion. He's going to make money tenfold. So he tears down those projects. He tears down those Sections 8. He tears down those black communities. And where are those black people forced to go? They are dispersed and divided and live in worse conditions than they once did before. And granted, if it's in the city, they push them out the city. So now they have to travel further with no proper transportation to get to their jobs. I'm getting somewhere. In the white minority controlled South Africa, the black population was denied and deprived of equal resources. When have Joe Biden in his so-called manifesto to black Americans where he was going to equal the resources, where he was going to decrease the wealth gap? Can anyone tell me? Can anyone? Because here's the thing, a lot of you are voting for the Democrats. A lot of you are voting for the Republicans. A lot of you are voting for Joe Biden. A lot of you are voting for Donald Trump. I don't care who you voted for. What are they giving you specifically? What are they giving you that are tangibles? What are promises that are they making to you? They're giving you jack and they're giving you absolutely shit. That is what they're giving you. Because this is a financial channel and this is all about finances, ladies and gentlemen. This is all about finances. This is about equal the playing field. This ain't about let's give tax cuts to the top 1% so wealth can trickle down. Let's get wealth to the middle class American so wealth from the bottom up. No, this is about black America. This is about B1. Because this is the thing, we're always worried about everybody else. You see, what they do is first and foremost, they divide black people from any other race. Then they divide black intelligence, black coons, black collaborators with white supremacy from foundational black Americans. Then they separate black females from black males. Then they separate black LGBT from heterosexual black Americans. This is the vision. This is the great deflection. These are the great deflectors of our time, ladies and gentlemen. And they, regardless of your sexual orientation, regardless of your educational level, regardless of your income level, they know how to separate black people, and we keep falling for it. You voted for Clinton. You voted for Obama. You voted for Hillary. You voted for who else? Who else are you going to vote for knowing that you're going to get jack and shit unless you demand it? See, whether it be Malcolm X, John Henry Clark, all of these black scholars, all of these pro-black people for black people to try to get ahead in America agree on one simple thing. They agree on one simple thing. When the black man awakens, when the black man rises, and I'm including females in this, okay? Black people, when black people are awakened, when black people are rise, they will understand when you have an epiphany, just a small glimpse of your own consciousness in your own image, you will understand that power is not given, power is taken. Power is not given, power is taken. I'm going to read on. He said that in the white minority controlled South Africa, again, for you guys that's joining me, I'm reading out Avoid the Machines by Scotty Vasco. This Avoid the Machines. This is an alternate reality, aka a fictional book, but it has a lot of worth to us. And I'm going to tell you why. He's giving the example of what occurred in South Africa. In the white minority controlled South Africa, the black population was denied and deprived of equal resources, and they were funneled into impoverished concentration camp style ghettos. Ghettos. Okay? The townships were called ghettos. Now, let me ask you something. Regardless if you have arrived in success or you have some sort of wealth, let me know, have you ever been deprived of resources? Have you ever been deprived of access? Have you ever been discriminated upon trying to get a job or while you was on the job? And let me ask you this. Was it because your character? Was it because of where you went to school? Or was it because your skin was black? If you are a black American and you don't believe that white supremacy is alive and well in America, then you yourself, ma'am, sir, are a damn fool. And if you're voting for anybody, which is your choice, again, I'm pointing out, I am not telling you not to vote. What I am telling you is, I believe collectively as a people, we should vote when someone produces tangibles to our community. Because some of you are out there just voting to vote. Some of you are out there voting just to get Donald Trump out of office. Let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. You say, well, Donald Trump has inspired and motivated a race war. These things were always going to come to pass. When Obama was in office, races just was covert. Now that Donald Trump was in office, they're overt. I like the fact that race and white supremacists and race soldiers are actually overt. I like the fact that they're coming out because their lives are being destroyed by their own businesses. Their lives are being destroyed by their own corporations. Their lives are being destroyed by the system that we live in. Okay, because they're not playing by a code. See, even some of the white supremacists want Donald Trump out of office. I want you to understand that. Because they need to continue to live under a veil to keep black people in America oppressed. See, when things are outwardly and openly, then we, as black people in America, we have a case with the UN. We have a case with the UN, with the Humane Society, because we are not being treated humanely. Now, that interview with Charlamagne the God and Joe Biden, Charlamagne the God talked to Joe Biden. He said, well, what about your 1994 crime bill that has mass incarcerated more black people than anything else in American history other than slavery? And he denied it. He like, well, it wasn't that. And then he started talking about the crime prevention bill, the crime prevention control bill of 1984. Then Charlamagne said, no, you was a part of that too. And he started stumbling around his words. And then we started talking about black reparations. He had to go. He had to go. And I want you to compare that against the Cardi B interview. Compare the Charlamagne the God interview against the Cardi B interview, and I want you to see what you come up with. You're going to see the only thing that Cardi B said about Black Americans is stop killing us. That's what she said. That was the only thing she said. She didn't ask any question of substance, any question that held any sort of weight, any question that would commit him into producing tangibles for our neighborhoods and our communities. Absolutely nothing, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely nothing. What we need to understand in this time, in this election, that there's a lot of you may be doing well. There's a lot of you with your own business. There's a lot of you working for large corporations. You working for a large corporation, getting a nice fat paycheck. Are you a slave to your work? If he fire you, if that white guy in charge fire you, are you going to crumble and die? Are you going to get put out your home? Are you going to cease to exist? And I want to point this out too. I am not saying every white person is a white supremacist or a racist. I'm not saying that. I am saying this, and I forgot who said that. I think James Baldwin said this. And I have to quote it because I don't know it word for word. Or with John Henry Clark. Maybe with John Henry Clark. They said, and I'm going to put it in a form of a question. Why is it that racist people call you racist when the only thing they exercise is racism? Why do racist people call you racist when the only thing they exercise is racism? So let me tell you this, fam. When you start worrying about yourself, your family, and the Black community, why does racist people or collaborators of racist people always challenge your stance? They say, well, Barack Obama was the president for all Black people. I mean, for all Americans, for all people. It's not about that, ladies and gentlemen. It's about that even when Barack Obama was in office, even with a guy that looked like us, we have to understand that Barack Obama was not a foundational Black American. He was not. He was not a foundational Black American. His father is from Africa, and he's from Kenya. He's from Kenya in Africa, and his mother's from Kansas. So he's not a foundational Black American. His views are totally different. Then some of you may argue that point and say, well, no, he actually grew up in Chicago, but does he know about the Black struggle? And I don't want to attack Obama, but this has something to do about race in this country. That if you can pinpoint, if you can tell me at any point in American history where this country has paid reparations to us, let me know. Now, some of you may go back to Abraham Lincoln when he, with the consensus of General William T. Sherman about Special Field Order number 15, that they gave land, Florida, Georgia, and South Carolina on the coastline. They gave our people 40 acres. But the one thing was that Andrew Johnson, Andrew Jackson, they took that land away when they became in office. Our land was actually taken. They gave us 400,000 acres of land that was taken back from us. Some of you may not know that. I want you guys to do a little research. I want you to go out and I want you to look up Special Field Order number 15. And you're going to see exactly what I'm talking about the 400,000 acres of land that Abraham Lincoln and William T. Sherman gave to Black freed enslaved refugees, okay, Black people on the coastline of Georgia, South Carolina, and Florida, and how that land was retracted, taken away from them when the next president came into office after Abraham Lincoln was actually assassinated. And I'm not going to go too far back in history, but we need to understand that when we say that Abraham Lincoln, and I need you to teach your kids this because we keep getting history wrong, that Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves. He freed some slaves. He didn't free every slave. He freed slaves that were on the border towns and some of the states of the Confederates. This is the problem, okay? This is the problem. He freed some of the slaves, the bordering states of the Confederates, okay? Because we'll understand that it was two governments. It was the United States of America and the Confederate States of America, okay? When they broke off in what, 1830 something, okay? 1830 something. And he freed those slaves in those towns. But in the Union, they still had slaves. Okay? They still have slaves. And don't let the Republicans trick you guys either. Because they would tell you, which is true, that the Democratic Party is the party of slaves and slave catchers. And that's absolutely true. The Confederates were Democrats. The Union were Republicans. But nonetheless, both of them are equally racist. Okay, not every single white person is racist. Not every single Republican who's white or every single Democrat that's white is racist. I'm not saying that. So don't twist my words, because a lot of people, they see these videos and they just take one word and they just shoot for the star. He said this, so he must be this. No, I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. I'm not an independent. I'm not any political anything. I'm just fucking black. And I care about my black people because we have been fucked over and looked over for far too long. And we finally got some notable, famous people on our side. Ice Cube, thank you. T.I., thank you. And then we have all the black media people who are speaking up. I think Charlamagne the God is coming around, okay? Because at first he was pushing that Democratic talking points, which does nothing for black people. But I'm glad he's out there asking the hard questions. I'm going to encourage that brother to keep on doing what he's doing. But we have other people who you guys may not know about. We have Phyllis Scott over at the African Diaspora Channel. Okay, we have Dr. Boyce Watkins. We have Dr. Umar Johnson. We have Tariq Nasheed and Tariq Radio. We also have Jason Black and the Black Authority. And we have another channel called The Black Post. The Black Post, okay? These are just facts, ladies and gentlemen. And if you are Afro anything, you may be wanting to look into this as well. If you are from the Dominican Republic and you're American and you were born here, or you from Mexico and you're Afro-Mexican, okay, doesn't matter if you're Puerto Rican. Look these things up because this is your history too. Stop falling for these political tricks year in, year out, term after term. The Democratic Party has promised us thing after thing after thing after thing. Every 4 years, the Democratic Party has promised Black America something, and we have absolutely got nothing in return. You know what? The Republicans don't offer us nothing, and they don't give us nothing. The only thing they say is, oh, the Democrats are the slave class. The Democrats are the one who put Africans in slave. Okay, what are you offering us? This is the decade. Better yet, this is the term where we show unity. We show unity as a people. We may disagree on who's the greatest basketball player. We may disagree on the Cardi B WAP song, that this is not the time or the place to release that video. Why do we care about this video, ladies and gentlemen? Why are young kids worried about this video during a time like this? We got black men getting killed for absolutely nothing. Did you guys hear about the black guy that was unarmed? They put a bag over his head and suffocating him. The police in New York. The police in New York. This happened after Jacob Blake. This happened after Jacob Blake. This happened after George Floyd. This happened after Breonna Taylor. And let me tell y'all this too, because I know a lot of you guys love Obama for whatever reason. Because I loved him too, to a point where I woke the hell up. Did you know that Obama signed into law the Blue Shield Law? Furthermore, giving police qualified immunity or impunity to go out and do crimes. Look up the Blue Shield Law. Look up qualified immunity. Look up impunity. These guys simply commit murders and get fired. They go to the adjacent precinct or the adjacent town or city and get another job and be a police. Family, I'm not making these things up. I just want you to look at this. And when you vote for a tyrant like Donald Trump, who doesn't care about anything, okay, but himself, if you vote for a mass incarcerator like Joe Biden, then whatever we receive, which will be absolutely nothing, than we deserve. Because the one thing I notice about every other people in this country and around the world, they're unified on at least one thing. They're unified on at least one thing. And in this country, there's one word that can sum up everything that we have not received since the day that we landed in America. Because we understand that 250 years before 1619, there were slaves in Mexico. There were black slaves that the Spanish brought to Mexico. But that's here nor there. The one thing that we should agree on is justice. We don't have justice when we come to access to wealth. We don't have justice when it comes to resources. We don't have justice when it comes to our neighborhoods and our environments. We don't have justice in business practices. We don't have justice at all. There's no justice in this country for Black Americans, and mainly because the Constitution wasn't written for us. The national anthem was not written for Black people. That's why we have the Black national anthem, Lift Every Voice and Sing. Because those brothers back then, I think they were, John Roseman, forgot their names, but they understood that that national anthem was not for Black people. So when you get somebody on here and they're saying Black this, Black that, Black this, oh, it's just more than Black. Don't you see all these Twitter videos? Oh, it's just more than Black, just more than Black. These young people, some of these foreigners, some of these immigrants have no idea what we go through. They have no idea what we went through to achieve. Now, you see me, I have a nice place, I'm not gonna lie, but what sacrifices did I have to make? What did I go through to be where I am? That's the question. The playing field is not equal. You guys have a great and wonderful day. And before you vote, if you vote, the only thing I want you to ask is, what are they giving me? What are they giving my community? What are they giving my people? If the only thing that they can sell you is that getting Donald Trump out of office is the best thing for America, then my question for you is, does it really matter to you? And is that the best thing being a Black person in America? That's it. Holla at your boy.